What is going on, YouTube? It has been a while since I made a video. Shoot, probably what, over a year now. I'm thinking about getting back into making some videos, but I thought I would leave a review, my personal review of CFI contracting. Some pros about it, some cons about it. Would I recommend them? Do I not recommend them? Find all that out right now. I'm going to list off 5 pros and 5 cons of CFI. We're going to start with the pros. Number 1, training. When I'm talking about training, I'm talking about for you guys that have no CDL experience. They will train you at a school and then send you to out with a trainer. When I went through school, when I started with them, I went to Crowder College out in Neosho, Missouri. That was one of the better experiences I've had learning to drive a truck. Granted, I had a little bit of experience from before. I just never had my CDL. But going through their school to get my CDL was worth it. Went out to Neosho, Missouri. Done 3 weeks out there with them. Came back to Joplin, which is about 30 miles away from each other, but still. Went through orientation. Then I went out with a trainer. Now, granted, the times we went was in right in the middle, start the COVID pandemic. It was right around Thanksgiving and Christmas time. It took a while for us to get up into it, for the people that went through school with me, to get up into a truck with our trainer. But like I said, Crowder College was a dang good experience. Number 2, safety. CFI is very safety oriented. They care about your safety, or they make it seem as if they care about your safety anyway. I felt like they cared about my safety. Yeah. Number 3, miles. Now, you're going to hear miles again here in a little while. But for now, number 3 of my pros is miles. Once I finished with my trainer, got my own truck and got out on my own, I was averaging between 24 and a little over 3,000 miles a week. Just getting started off, that was doing pretty good. Pay was decent for what it was. Granted, you're still brand new, you're not going to get paid top dollar. Go ahead and put that out there now. You're not going to get paid top dollar when you first get started. But the miles were there, and for the most part, the miles were consistent. There would be times you'd start a load and it would roll over into the next week and it'd mess you up somewhat with your miles. But then then the next week would roll over and it'd work itself out. You can't look at your miles by the week. Look at what you averaged throughout the month. A 2-week period, 3-week period, a month. if you get 10,000 miles a month, you're doing good. Number 4, terminals. For the terminals that I've seen, you had your good ones, and then you had your, well, not so good ones. Not every terminal you would go to while you were driving for CFI actually belonged to CFI. We'll leave that there. Your terminal in Joplin, Missouri that's where their home office is, so you know it's going to look the best. That place, you had a nice driver's lounge, plenty of showers, you had a basketball court, workout equipment, gym, all that great stuff. If you went to Joplin, doing a 34 in Joplin, you could keep yourself going and work to keep yourself in shape as well. Another terminal, let's see, where was that terminal? The West Memphis terminal is not too bad. It's nice, it's decent. There's not another terminal that has the amenities that Joplin has. But your West Memphis terminal was nice, clean, upkept, real good. Now you go up into like Mechanicsburg, at the time it was Transport America terminal. Now that one was a little podunky rinky dink, but you could always, it was close to town, you could take an Uber or something to town, get whatever you needed. At Joplin you had a shuttle bus that ran you that made a big loop around town once an hour between the terminal, Walmart in Joplin, a couple of restaurants as long as they were in or out of their little loop, and then the La Quinta Inn where you stayed at while you're there for orientation. Number 5, the driver's advocates. If you are ever having a problem with your dispatch team, something on the road that you just can't get taken care of, road service, whatever, if you are having trouble and you cannot get that problem fixed through your normal channels, messaging, calling, texting one of the driver's advocates normally puts a fire under some butts and gets things going. They're good at what they do, and that's why they have them. They're there to be the middleman between you and corporate to make sure that you're taken care of. If you ever have a problem that you cannot get resolved, they are your go-to people. That's my 5 pros. Now we're going to get up into the cons. Then we're just going to talk a little bit about everything in general. Why I left. And all that hoo-ha great stuff. Con number 1. See, I'm looking. I got it written down. Don't worry. Con number 1. Your dispatch and planners. Why are they a con when I'm getting 2,500 miles a week? Well, sometimes it takes fussing and complaining with them to get those miles. That's how it was then. they like, don't get me wrong, there was times I done a lot of short haul stuff or picked up a load that I could have easily delivered somewhere else that they just had me relay somewhere else so someone else could get it, or have me pick up a relay and deliver it 30 miles down the road pick it up from a yard somewhere, deliver it, and then deliver it 30 miles down the road. And I'll sit there and wonder, like, why couldn't the driver that brought it to this yard do it? Especially if I'm doing a relay with said driver. Now, I can understand if the load been sitting for a while. I mean, these bigger companies, they'll pick up a load and let's say the 1st of August. It might not need to be delivered somewhere until the end of August. They'll take it, drop it off at the terminal closest to wherever it needs to be delivered. And that's where it'll sit until it's time to be delivered. I understand those. But most of these terminals also have local guys that could have delivered that stuff as well. So instead of putting me on something that could have got some miles down the road, I got put on some of those. And a good chunk of the time, it would take 4, 5, 6, 10 hours at some place, at a place or two before, just to get that load unloaded. So a 30-mile load ended up costing me my entire clock for that day. That's why I have the dispatching planners on here. Also, another reason why I had the dispatching planners is going to come down to why I left the company as well, on top of a few other things. But I'll talk about that at the end. Number 2, night and weekend dispatch. Just like any mega carrier, they'll have 200 people working during the day, as in planners, your dispatchers, office staff, whatever. But yet, come night and weekends, they'll have 4 or 5 people working. And 9 times out of 10, they could not help you resolve any problems you were having. They would tell you just to hold tight and wait till the next morning and talk to your normal dispatcher. Granted, a lot of them, I believe CFI was putting the people that they would just hire on as their night and weekends to give them their training, but they needed to be trained a little bit better before they were put out on their own, so they could actually help mitigate and resolve problems. There were several times I had to call night and weekends. Either a load not being ready, or sorry, somebody's walking by and I was watching them. They got a little puppy dog with them. Call them and they'd be because of a load not being ready, or I'm running early to see if I'm supposed to be delivering at, like, say 6 a.m. I'm 4 or 5 hours early, seeing if they'll can change my workflow around so I could deliver early. None of them could do that. They couldn't help me with any of that. They would say they're contacting the planners, but then tell you they couldn't help with anything. I've pulled into receivers before. Heck, even shippers. Several hours early. As I'm waiting on hold with the dispatch team, night and weekends dispatch team, and they tell me the planner says no way, you cannot pick that load up early. While I'm sitting there picking up that load, saying that with the shipper saying that load's been ready for 2 days, won't know why it hasn't been picked up yet, which I can't help them with because I'm just a driver. That's the main problems with night and weekends. Number 3, road service. When I say road service, I'm not specifically talking about the road service guys that would come out while you're broke down on the side of the road. I'm talking about getting a hold of CFI's road service team to get that process started to get a mechanic out to where you're at. It might has changed some since I've been gone, but when I was there, which wasn't too long ago, and I've still got buddies that work there, and it's really not much different. Not much has changed. But you'd contact the road service team because you have a blowout on your trailer. You need a trailer tire replaced before you can take off with the load. Excuse me. Hold on. Let me get something to drink. Something's wrong with your truck. You'll call and you'll talk to one person after you're set on hold for who knows how long. They'll put all the information down, or put all the information in the system, and say, okay, someone from maintenance will contact you later in a little while. Now, sometimes it could be half an hour later whenever they contact you, or sometimes it could be several hours later. I was in Arizona. I was in 2017 T680. If anyone knows anything about those T680s, for some reason Kenworth wanted to put plastic fittings for your coolant lines that go into the side of your engine. Every single one of those plastic fittings within a few years dry rot, crack, and just disintegrate. I was in Arizona about 2 hours north of Phoenix, maybe 3 hours north of Phoenix. One of those lines blew out. This is the second time. This was the second line, but that line blew out. Contacted road service. Told them what was going on. Alright, maintenance will be back in touch with you. 4 hours later, if I'm not mistaken, I got a call from road service saying they're going to set up a mechanic to come out and meet me. I don't know what was going on with the truck again. I told them what was going on, told them what they needed. Heck, I even told them what size fitting they needed. Guys, they said, okay, we're going to contact closest road service guy, team, whoever is close to you, and have them come out and fix it. They'll probably call you here in a little while and let you know when they're going to be there. About an hour and a half, 2 hours later. This is 4.5, 5 hours after I missed on the road. Guy from road service calls. Now this dude was cool as hell. No problems at all with him. But he shows up with a little 1/4 inch fitting because that's what they told him he needed. I'm talking about a little 1/4 inch elbow. That ain't what he needed. He looked at it, cussed a little bit, said, yep, that's kind of the line one of the lines I figured blown out, but don't know why he told me this one. So he had to leave. riding an hour and a half down the road to Freightliner, or not Freightliner, but Kenworth. Pick up the part, which they upgraded to a brass fit instead of the plastic ones, thank God. And updated, got back, fixed it, got on my way. But the problem is the time between when you initiate road service until the time they actually get a hold of road service. That's the problem. Because we all know, you're working for a company like that, you're not paid by the hour. You're paid by the mile. Number 4. Remember how I said we was going to be back to miles? Let's get back to miles. Miles. Like I said, I was talking about for the pros earlier with the miles. You can average decent miles as long as you look at it at a longer point of view instead of just by the week. Now, granted, working for a company like that with what we're getting paid, most people, unless they got a hefty bank account already, they worry about what they're gonna make every single week. I know I was worried at the time about what I was gonna make every single week. I don't care about what I make in total in the long run. I still had bills that had to be paid every single week. And yeah, like I was saying, some weeks miles would roll over. CFI's pay week is Sunday morning midnight to Saturday night midnight. I have picked up loads on a Thursday. Maybe only 400 or 500 mile load, which can be done in a day. Granted, because I picked it up on that Thursday, I get paid for it for that pay period. But that load will carry over to Tuesday or Wednesday of the next week, doing a 34 out in the middle of nowhere on that load. Come Tuesday or Wednesday, you deliver that load, you get another 500-600 mile load, maybe another couple 100 mile load, then boom, week's over, and you're sitting at 1,000 miles. That was the bad part about it. But then the next week, because how it would roll over, you get good miles. It's hard to, for me it was hard to save money when one week I'd make decent that could cover all my bills, and the next week I'd barely make enough to cover everything else. And don't get me wrong, I do not live above my means at all. I do not like spending money. My bills are paid for. Only bills I have is my cell phone, my power, or mine and my family's cell phone, my power, our power bill. My wife's car note, which ain't like $200 a month. I mean, it's a cheap little car payment, and internet. That's it. Well, insurance and all that good stuff goes along with it, but that's it. And there's at times I still couldn't afford to pay all of our bills because of how the miles would roll over. And that's when contacting your driver's advocate would come in handy, because they could help get something going. Because here it is Thursday, and they're putting you on a 300 mile load that's not going to deliver till Sunday or Monday, because you're a forced dispatch company and you're a company driver. You couldn't technically refuse that load. But you could contact your driver's advocate and tell them, look, I need a little bit more miles this week because this is where I'm at and this is what I need. That driver's advocate could fix that around to where you don't pick up that load and get you a little bit more miles, if not a lot more miles sometimes. And last but not least on my cons are some of their drop lots. When I say drop lot, it's just a bare yard. Normally there's no amenities other than maybe a porta potty, or it's a yard that we share with somebody else. But half of the yards, half of your drop lots are gravel lots with potholes that you could lay in and not be seen. You'd ride through some of those going half a mile an hour and it would still break your neck and your back because it was so rough. And it's like, at times it's like they didn't care about how their drop lots looked because all they were was gravel. But yeah. Their drop lots, I mean, they've got, I could say that their drop lots also is a plus too, though. It could be a pro because they're everywhere. If not, a lot of times if you needed somewhere to safely park, there's a good chance you're within, if you're around any major city or town, there's a chance you're within driving range of one of those drop lots or a terminal to park for the night. That way you don't have to fight with truck stop parking, because we all know how trucks trying to find a parking spot in a truck stop can be late at night. Anything after 5, 6 o'clock at night, unless it's a Friday night or Saturday night, you're gonna play hell trying to find somewhere to park. Do I recommend going and working for CFI? If you don't have your CDL, if you've never driven a truck before in your life, CFI is one of the companies I would totally recommend you to get in with. Get your training. Go out with your trainer for your 3 weeks. Do your year time that it is going to cost you in your contract so that they pay for your school. And you might like it and you stay there forever. Like I said, I got buddies it's been there almost 2 years. And they're still going strong. But actually, let me go back to another con. This could be a con or a plus, depends on who you get. Their finishers. That's something I did not add and I'm going to add now. Their finishers. Their finishers are hit and miss. When I'm talking about hit and miss, one finisher might be great, teach you everything there is that you need to be taught on how to do your job for CFI properly. Teach you how to run your tablet, your PeopleNet, your Qualcomm, whatever they're using now. I believe there's some kind of different system they have now. And then there's finishers that are just there for the extra paycheck. The finisher I had was there just for that paycheck. And if you see this, boss, I still don't like you. Got it? Back to what I was saying. Yeah. You're going to have good finishers, you're going to have bad finishers. They're hit and miss. If you go out with your finisher and you know that all he cares about is making that extra paycheck, then contact a driver's advocate, contact your dispatch, even if you need to, when you're stopped for the night and you're away from that finisher, contact somebody and let them know. They'll get you in, they'll put you normally in with a trainer that actually can help you learn what you need to learn. But back to what I was saying, yes. I would recommend CFI for anyone that's never had truck driving experience. They'll put you through one of their schools, and if you've got the option to choose, I would choose Crowder College. Go down there and see Big Hoss. He's one of the trainers down there, and I learned a lot from that man. I'll do a separate video later about my experience at Crowder. That's something I started doing a long time ago but never got around to. But I'll do that here soon. But yeah, overall their CFI is a decent company. I just seen where Heartland Express bought them out, so I don't know how that's going to play out yet. But as far as I know, CFI over the road guys are going to continue trucking just like they have been with no changes. That's what they say. And if that's the case, CFI is a good place for you to go. Go get your training, go do your year time, and then start shopping around for a better job, a better paying job. Their pay is about standard how it is for most mega carriers right now, but you can find some of these smaller carriers that after you get a year or two in will pay you a lot more. Yeah, but I'm sitting at a little over 30 minutes now. If y'all have any comments, concerns, questions, ask away. And if y'all found this video somewhat helpful, hit subscribe for me. Leave a comment down at the bottom, help the my little algorithm a little bit, because I'm going to start posting some videos a little bit more often, talking about what I'm doing now. Hit that little notification bell. That way you know when I post another video. Till next time, y'all. See ya.